everyone, my name is Rebecca Grace from Rebecca Grace Designs, and I am the creator of the Encyclopedia of Code, which provides hundreds of copy and paste code snippets for Squarespace designers to use on their clients' websites. Today we're going to be talking about a question that's thrown about a lot in the Squarespace world, and that is, do I need to know how to code in order to be a Squarespace website designer? Now, Squarespace is known for its usability and how user-friendly it is. It's one of the reasons that I absolutely love the platform. I love that I can design a website in Squarespace and then hand it off to the client, and they can do the rest of the managing and editing as they go along with their business and they want to change images or text. They don't need me in order to make those small changes on their site. And so I love that. And so that means that the average DIYer, the average person, can create a fairly nice looking Squarespace website just using the blocks inside of Squarespace and dragging and dropping them about. Especially with the latest Fluid Engine update, it's a lot more drag and drop, and you can also edit the mobile side too, just by dragging and dropping things around. So that means as a website designer, you need a new way to stand out from the DIYers. So do you need to use code in order to do that? My answer is a little. The more you design in Squarespace, the more you'll inevitably come up across a situation where the editor is not letting you do something that you want to do. There's not an option inside the style editor to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish, or it doesn't have the functionality that you need. So you need code in order to be able to overcome that and override the Squarespace settings. And this can be something as simple as removing underlines from links, to aligning text on mobile, to having the button in the header be slightly different on one page than the rest of the pages, to more complex things such as having the vertical header, which you used to be able to do in 7.0, but is not an option in 7.1, having sidebars, etc. So if you want to be able to provide a fully custom website to your Squarespace clients with these added features to be able to stand out from DIYers, you do need to know how to code. So why can't you just use a program that writes the code for you? There are programs out there that you can add onto your Squarespace website where you click away and it adds all the code that you need in order to make those changes happen. But this isn't always a good idea. And I want to use an example to explain. So let's say you want to make some small changes to your site. And so in the end, it would take about 20 lines of CSS code. In order for this program to run, you're going to have to copy some code over to your Squarespace site in order to run their program. Now, it's going to look like it's only a few lines, but it's really linking to a library that they have that is possibly thousands of lines of code long in order to run this program. So in order to write your 20 lines of CSS, you're going to end up with 1,000 lines of code on your site, which could slow down your site and is a lot more code than you need, especially if they're small, simple CSS changes. And an even bigger issue is what happens if you don't need that code anymore? You make changes down the line, you decide you don't need that code anymore, but you didn't write it. So you don't know what code to delete, you don't know which code is for what. And so you end up with sort of a mess of CSS code or other codes on your site, which again can cause problems such as page loading times and styles jumping as the page is loaded, and could just make your site look messy. In addition, what happens if you don't want to pay for their program anymore? Does that mean your code no longer works? Do you use that code on another site, or do you have to pay for that program to be hosted on more than one website? So you can see how having a program that writes the code for you, well, may seem simpler at the beginning, can actually cause problems later down the line. So if you are a business that is just designing your own site, a program that writes code for you could be a great investment. However, as a designer who's going to have tons of client sites over the time, having a program that writes it for you can become costly and can in the end cause you more problems than it saved. So does that mean that you need to dive into learning code, take some in-depth coding course, and become some sort of coding expert? No, absolutely not. Most of the changes that you're going to want to make will require you to use the coding language CSS, which is arguably, and in my opinion, the easiest coding language out of all the coding languages to learn. However, even the most seasoned and advanced coders do not write code from scratch every time. As a Squarespace website designer that uses code on all of the websites that I build, I very, very rarely write code from scratch. I have a resource that I copy and paste from, and this just speeds things up drastically, which means that you do not need to know all the in-depth knowledge of code. You just need to know enough to read and edit it for your needs. So then, what do you need to know and how can you learn it? Well, you're in luck because I am running a Coding Klutz to Coding Champion 3-day coding workshop on a pop-up Facebook group that is going to teach you all that you need to know in order to use code on your client's Squarespace website. Now, I'm only planning on running this a few times a year, so I've provided a link below where you can check out the next session and sign up. There's no coding experience necessary. This is for complete beginners and will teach you all that you need to know in order to be able to copy, paste, and edit code for Squarespace. So all in all, yes, you do need to know how to code just a little bit in order to be a Squarespace website designer, but I'm going to be teaching you all that you need to know in a 3-day workshop. So click the link below and sign up.